Hi there. So, nice to meet you all. Finally, we made a live stream, and let's get straight to business. So right now there are around 20 people watching. We're just starting, and you'll be able to watch this live stream later in case if you missed it, and also we'll make sure to transcribe it to the community. You'll be able to watch this live stream later in case if you missed it. So, this time we learned a lot. So this live stream was created based on your feedback previously on how could we improve our streaming video quality and so on. So this time around we're streaming here from Helsinki office, and I would first of all like to really thank you very much for helping out in the previous thread. You actually had really great feedback that we should be more open and keep communicating to our community no matter what situation we have. So here's the deal. We will be doing live streams from now on. There will be either live streams or recorded videos. We'll see how this first live stream goes. The idea is to have each live stream short and very focused on one particular topic, and do them frequently to make sure that we communicate with each other. So this live stream will be about products and everything related to products. So, for example, EV, the issues it has, what to do if you have this or that issue, and all kind of things like this. In the background, here's Dario and Shinji as well. You can say hello, guys, just to hear.
Hello there.
Yeah,
hello.
Exactly, they are there on that side of the table. So if there are some questions to them as well, I can ask all the time. So this first live stream will be, once again, to repeat, about products. Next live stream, which we'll do next week, or it will be a recorded video based on your feedback, will be about shipping schedule, shipping situation, why the delays happen, and so on. To be honest, guys, I have to be fair with you. I'm a little bit worried. Actually, for many reasons. First of all, I just got married yesterday, and I'm gonna have a celebration later in summer. There is no time for celebrations now. So I'm very excited for this live stream. Okay, let's begin. Before we start, I would just like to ask you any kind of feedback you have about the live stream quality itself. How can we improve it for the future? Please make sure to post it in the community. So let's start with this live stream. Well, we've pulled up a bunch of questions from the community, and by the way, again, thank you very much. We have like 80 plus questions, or actually way more. Masters had like 45. Yeah, we've grouped them in different categories. And the first things that many people have who have already received their V is about the quality of the V and what kind of issues it has. So some people had, let's say, loose USB port. Some people had, just a second. Yes, so some people had loose USB port. Some people had issues with kickstands and so on. So I'll start by addressing these issues first. Before I go to the quality of the V, I would just like to paint a general picture here. So we've actually sent out a survey to a lot of people who received the V already. We're sending them out in batches. And overall, we had a very high satisfaction with the device. Okay, so as a company actually, and as a team, like what we don't want to do is to ship bad devices to people or for people to have quality issues that are not resolved. What we really want to do is to make sure that all of you have all of the issues resolved, all of you guys are happy and like the V. So before I go to tell about the quality issues you might have, or like the ones that I mentioned in the community, I would just like to tell a little bit more how the quality check process works, because there were a lot of questions in the community about why do you keep shipping like devices with some defects. So first of all, one thing about the community, which is great, is that it's very transparent. Actually, many big companies and so on, they don't really use online communities in the same way, and they don't actually have so much visibility about the possible issues. In our case, it's different. Even if there are just few issues that few people have, like everybody would know about them because it's just, that's what the community will be talking about. First, before going to addressing each and every issue, I'll talk about the quality control process. In Eve, actually, we have, I've been making some notes here. In Eve, we actually have 5 steps for the quality check. So first, when each component comes to the factory from the supplier, it is tested and checked. So it means before it goes to the assembly, it means just when it arrives to the factory warehouse. Then at that point, like it's either rejected or accepted. So at the point when the factory receives the component, it means that factory takes responsibility for it and like confirms that, okay, we approve this quality standard. Next step is actually that when the components go to the production line where the devices are actually assembled, they're also checked in line. This is especially true for the main components. I see, by the way, some of you putting comments there. So I will go through comments and questions after going through these general things that I picked up from the community. So I can see by Shinji face that there were some tough questions submitted. I didn't read it yet. Talking about the components and the quality check process. So first, they're checked when they arrive to the warehouse. Next, the major components are checked in line. So let's say, first it starts by the worker taking housing. So he would like inspect housing carefully from all the angles to make sure the kickstand tolerances are not like in place and there are no scratches and so on. At that point, some things again get rejected. Then after the device has been assembled, it is tested once again in line. Just like basically there is like a lot of requirements, like it's a big document with 50+ pages where there are all kind of test case scenarios. And there are like 5 people testing the V for each and every scenario. Then after that, the Vs go for the aging test, which is basically a test when there's like 8 hours the device is running under hotter temperature on a high load, performing different tasks, running a script. And then there is a diagnostic software connected that catches any issues. And so if there are any issues found, then again the device is taken off the line and reproduced. And then after that process, there is a final QC at the factory. That's the final one, where the factory is like, okay, so now the device is produced, we checked it, it complies to our quality standard. And how is the quality standard defined? That's actually what we specify from the factory. That also affects the cost, for example, of the device. And then after the factory gives us the device, it says, okay, it's 100% good. We of course don't stop there, and we have a third-party quality check company. So they come with their own people, they don't have any relationship with the factory, and they make a separate assembly line where they test and check each and every device. So generally speaking, we don't ship any devices with the defects. It's true that during like the first shipments of the Indiegogo units, there were some issues when like the QC process wasn't mature enough, but generally we don't ship any devices with the defects. And when the device arrives to you, like after some time, the defect might come. Okay, for example, I can give you some examples here. So some people in the community have told about, discussing that, some people have this kickstand is falling off issue. By the way, it sounds terrible. We know the root cause for it. It's just really housing imperfection. And this issue affects less than 0.5% of users based on like our support history. It's simple. The reason why QC doesn't catch it is because they close and open the kickstand, let's say 20, 30 times during the process, maybe 50, I don't remember exactly, during testing. And then, the screws don't get loose. But then when the user gets the device, still there is an imperfection and the screw gets loose, the kickstand detaches. So that is like one of the examples. Then one of the big issues that have been brought up in the community was the ghost touch. So ghost touch is a very different story. They're common generally for devices like ours to appear. I mean, we for sure understand that it's an issue and affects usability a lot. So here's how the ghost touch appears. So we don't ship any devices with ghost touch because there are particular scripts running to check the ghost touches that there are none. But typically what would happen is that once the device has been shipped and received by the user, some Windows updates come, some software changes come, system changes settings, and that can eventually create the ghost touch. And the biggest problem then, what actually happens is that we need to, typically to address any issue, we need to replicate the problem, and then we can make a hardware, firmware update for it. But the problem is that sometimes we cannot replicate the issue exactly as the user has it. So for example, let's say somebody tells us, hey, guys, I have a ghost touch. Well, the first thing we'll say is, hey, please try installing the latest driver. Typically that fixes the issue for most of the people, but for some people, of course, it still stays. So after that, we would try to understand what exactly has happened, and like what kind of changes did you do to the system, and how do you get that ghost touch. So then basically we'll try to replicate that. And if we really can't replicate it, we would see to some error logs and so on. If we can't replicate it, then it's very hard for us to fix. So typically then we'll try to update the firmware again. But to answer short, so as for the ghost touch, we have made a FAQ. We'll share the link in the description. What can you do in case if you have the ghost touch that you can get rid of? So most of the time, for most of the users, if they have a ghost touch, a driver update fixes it. But if that doesn't help, then there are some other solutions that you can find in the community. But generally, Ghost Touch is a work in progress, so it will always be coming back, I guess. And it's really about how fast we can resolve it, based on the Windows updates and so on. So that's what we're doing now. We're working on pushing out the touch panel drivers all the time. Then there was another issue, so it's battery drain. So battery drain.
Battery drain during sleep.
Yes, exactly. Thanks, Shinji. Battery drain during sleep. That's a pretty straightforward issue. So what happens basically is that not all the components go to sleep. So even though with you click a sleep button and most of the device goes, some components don't go to sleep, and then the battery drains. Actually, that was the issue also present on Surface, and they've been fixing it for a while. So we found a short-term fix for this. Is to switch from S0 sleep mode to S3. Actually, I'm using myself S3 zero mode. So the main difference between those two is that one is that it keeps the system sort of at low power state where you click it and it wakes up super quick from like the same speed as a smartphone wake up when you click the power button. The other state is S3. It's a deeper form of sleep and it takes like a few seconds for the screen to light up, but the system doesn't turn off. So it's not the same as hibernate. So anyways, we'll share the link to that guide as well in the video description, and it will be of course available in the transcription that we'll post in the community. Yes, and as well we're working on a firmware fix that will address these particular components that are not going to sleep right now. Then there was another issue. So there is a port loose. So again, this is like an issue that affects few people, and more people for sure than other issues. But I'm just yes. So when it comes for this issue now, we've done a few things. First of all, we have strengthened now the QC process to like actually check it. But basically, in most cases, it's kind of case by case basis. So you need to message our support, show some videos, and tell us like what exactly the problem, and we'll find a solution for you. So the port loose, basically the root cause really is the component itself. Because when these USB connectors come to the factory, the connector itself is not tested 100%. So some of them sometimes might have issue. So that's it. Let's see what's next. So then there is a speaker quality issue with the V. So again, I know this has been talked a lot, and some of you in the community have been saying that we have like over-advertised, over-promised. To be honest, when it comes to the V, I mean, like this stream is all about honesty here. So we actually really want to do the best device we can, and speakers that we've got right now, on spec, on paper, are very high performance, and they're among the top speakers like we could pick. I mean, that's how we were doing the V. We took a very simple approach. We were just, okay, this is the specs that community want. Let's now take the best and the most high-end version of each of these specs, put it to the device, and that's like a formula for success. That was kind of our development approach to make sure that people like the device. But when it came to this speakers, we realized that it just takes a while to get things tuned. For sure, we could make better speakers in the future. So let's say if there was a new version of V at some point, we would definitely change up we would make speakers better by reserving more physical space for them, I guess. But for now, the solution is to keep improving the software and potentially partnering up with Dolby. But right now we'll be delivering to you the driver update for speakers. There is a big new one coming that should almost fully eliminate the distortion sound for Windows notifications and again improve the quality. Then also about the V improvements. So there is actually a really big update coming out, the BIOS update, that will be having that will be addressing a lot of small fixes that we found in the device, like overall improving its performance in some aspects, touch and so on, and to match up the latest OS changes. And also the exciting news about this update is that it will make changes to the EC, and charging speed will increase 20 to 30%. We already tested it. We've been testing it for a while. It works very reliably. There are no downsides to it. So yeah, we're very excited to push it because for us, the charging speed was something that we weren't very happy about. And then also, when it comes to the present issues, there were a lot of people who were talking about future improvements that would make to the V via software, like things that are not bugs, but would be great to improve for the future. And generally our stance on this is like that. Like right now, we're a pretty small team still, and so on, and we're focusing now on resolving any bugs and issues that are present. But of course, this is not to say that we don't want to do, don't want to improve the V. So we will be working on utilities like utility at some point later down the line, like it's not anytime soon. But short term, for almost all of these utility suggestions, there is an app, third-party app available. For example, caps lock indicator that was requested many times. That is possible to do via third-party app. So it would come on screen basically. So every time you click caps lock, you would see on screen that caps lock is activated. To be honest, we really tried to make the caps lock possible, but unfortunately, we just couldn't. Like our factory just didn't have the know-how to properly put the LED into the caps lock button with the backlight structure. So I mean, they could do it if there would be no backlight on the keyboard, but they couldn't do it for the caps lock with the LED. Yeah, so that's it. Then also as for the charging indicator, that's also something that has been really asked for. So we've been trying to do different solutions. The easiest one would be to fully replicate the way that the smartphones work, where when you're charging the device, the screen is off, it would show you something like the BIOS. But we couldn't find any power effective solutions. So what we can do, we see two ways to solve this. One is to implement the charging indicator to the cable itself. So then every time the V is charging, you could see that you could see a LED light on the charging cable. And the other solution that we will be putting in now is that when the battery is low, and because of that V can start, it would show you on the screen. So basically, in that case, you would be able, let's say if the root cause of your problem is not in the, you'll be able to diagnose the root cause of whatever problem you might be experiencing a little bit better. So if your V is too low on power, it will basically show. Let's see what else do we have. So yeah, basically this is it about the general key issues. So let me just recap super quick. So yeah, so we spoke about the kickstand, ghost touches, battery drain during sleep, loose port, speaker quality, upcoming improvements. And then I guess I see there are a lot of comments, so I'll scroll through the comments as well. So now let's go to the next topic. Also, many of you have been asking about the V refresh. So I can't say too much about it. There's pretty strict NDAs with which we work. In the industry, it's pretty unfortunate. But one thing I can tell you is that luckily for V, Intel has not been very quick with their CPU generations. And actually, right now, V, even though it's 7th gen, but actually it's using the latest architecture, like real architecture. And it is the latest processor in its own category. So, I mean, in category of Core Y CPUs, it is the latest gen. But yeah, there is not really much we can tell yet about the V refresh, because we see there is a lot of potential in this current V. And yeah, we'll be working on improving the experience for now. Then there were some questions about Buddha, the Buddha backpack. I'm sorry, that's our internal code name. So there were some projects about the backpack, and yeah, basically this project is super exciting. We're very happy to do it. There is really good progress going on. We've been one of the key goals of the project was for Dario to play around with the community development and see what is the best way to extract information from the users. And yeah, next week you'll see a lot of, I guess you'll see some exciting stuff next week. So there will be some interesting concepts that Dario and guys from Mosel made together, and you'll be able to choose some of them from there. So stay tuned for the next week. So Buddha is ongoing, and hopefully very soon we'll be able to start have the final product ready. Okay, so then also another question that many of you had is what kind of changes did you do after? Yeah, so what changes did you do since the first production run? Just a second, there was this light here. Yeah, good. Yeah, so many of you had a question, what kind of changes have we done since the first production run of Indiegogo? Yeah, we've been adjusting our factory line and the device all the time as we've been producing more and more, because there are many things that we see in the background that are not like visible to the user, how we can improve. For example, we made some changes to the housing internally to make assembly easier. We did some actual changes that you could also see, like for example, we did put the plastic wrap around the device now to avoid the dust issue, like some people before used to have the dust inside the box. We've been, of course, putting out latest software all the time, and BIOS and Windows version of the device. We've done a lot of changes to the keyboard in a way that, to be honest, most of our changes, they are focused on improving consistency of the quality of the assembly. That's basically what we do. So we've been playing around with the materials of the keycap to make sure that people don't have any issues with the sensitivity of the keys, as was reported before. We've also been working on making the trackpad more stable. Like in the very early devices, there was an issue sometimes that people would click, like the left click would not feel clicky enough. It would be very soft, would not be tactile. So we made some changes there. Yeah, so that's basically about the quality of the devices. So we've been making a lot of changes, and all of them in the background. And yeah, production is a work in progress all the time, so we always have to keep improving. Now, the next question, also one big question, is the next big thing, when we'll start it? And that's a great question. I can't tell you too much, not during the first live stream. You know what? For you guys to keep watching this live stream, I have to say that they're going to be a live stream separately for that topic later on. So because the next big thing, I think, is a very big topic. For sure, there is something that we'll be working on, and we'll make sure to make a separate live stream about it. And okay, good. I think now I have covered most of these product-related questions. So now I will open up the comments on my V, by the way, using the Debrand key. I'll open up the comments on my V and I'll see what you've been writing there. That's going to be interesting. Shinji's giving me a worried look.
No, just add one thing that some people also ask about Donald Duck.
Oh.
Yeah, that is because I think you
yeah.
know that
yeah.
We have...
I can tell. So about Donald Duck, exactly. So Donald Duck is another topic. So we realize that the Donald Duck is something that we would like to do together with the next big thing. And for what we've been thinking for the next big thing, Donald Duck is a very good, it complements it very well. You see, I try to tease it, not to tell too much, but yeah, that's just it. And by the way, before I go on further, I'm gonna say some of you noticed the ring exactly. So this is just to repeat, this is the wedding band. Is it called wedding band? Yeah, just got married yesterday. Okay, good. So now I will open up the comments and see what you guys been commenting here. Okay, so first of all, I can see there are a lot of comments here. Okay, of course, hello to everybody who did that. And once again, we will make sure to transcribe this, save it to YouTube, and follow up on the questions. By the way, just before I answer the questions here, I have so how do you like the quality of the live stream so far, in terms of information, and would you be interested to do more live streams in the future? That's one of the things, so make sure to answer that. But okay, now read some questions here. So I'll be answering only now the questions that are related to the product itself, and things about the delivery schedule and missing items and so on. We'll for sure will address it in a separate live stream next week. I'm thinking it's going to be somewhere on Wednesday. Right, somebody said it's an awesome company. It's always very nice to hear. Yes, okay, so I see some order-related questions. Oh, can you see the contents of the time travel stuff box? It's a great question. No, we've put the time travel box.
That's
yes.
from Rick and Morty.
That's why V is so cutting edge. We'll make a live stream about. We'll for sure make a live stream about the personal life and all these things, and the team and what we have in the office. Okay. Okay. Arthur from Poland is here. So good. I think so. Arthur had issue with the audio quality. And a bunch of other issues with his V. And to be honest, I don't really have too much to say because so we did send you over 3 Vs, and yeah, they like it seems that we can't really satisfy you with the V. So I mean, we try to do the best we can. I don't really have too much to say, but I've actually looked into your case. And yeah, I mean, we can. I think we just need to discuss how to. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just reading this comments here. Yeah. So yeah, Arthur. So as for the UV, we were making like thank you first of all thank you very much for reporting a lot of the issues that you found with the V. Like many of them actually were improved. Let's say like the audio quality and so on. But yeah, we can't. Yeah, we know that we could do better generally, but there are a lot of people who like our device, so I hope that we can make your V as well better. But yeah, that's I mean honestly, the V is the best device we've made. I think so far. Many people like it, and yeah, we'd always try to do better. But yeah, I'll go to the next question. It was a tough one. Time travel. Oh, the V poster looks cooked. No, it's not. It was there. Oh yeah, again Arthur here with shipping defective devices. Yeah, I mean, yeah, your case is really special. I have to say, you're in a way lucky. It's bad maybe word to use, but. Yeah, I don't really know how could it be so bad with your devices. I think sometimes we could have shipped from the office to make it faster shipments, like some view we could have in office. But still, yeah, I don't really have much to say there. We need to discuss it separately. If anybody of you, by the way, have been writing me private messages, I'm very sorry. I actually haven't been going through them for a while. It's for a few reasons. One is that I have really huge amount of them. And secondly, is because they were just, I wasn't traveling to China, then I was on another business trip, and I was a bit too much on travel, and I barely could catch up with my emails, so I really didn't check the PMs. So if there was anything that anybody wrote to the PMs, I promise that I'll next week be going through them and addressing them. So for Arthur, for example, I think we'll talk more in the private messages. Gabriel. Okay, let's see. Chinji, do you see any questions that are related to product? I'm sorry, guys. I'm reading a lot of questions here. Streamers normally talk a lot. I don't know how they do it.
There is a question regarding if you put pen in the sleeve, then and also put V in the sleeve, then the pen might scratch it V. So we will we will check this with Mozo together to see how it goes and if we have any solution for that. Yeah.
Right. People. Let's see. And you know, like again, like it's really hard to say, like when it comes to these individual issues, like the community is a really great platform. And I mean, the fact that we actually know about these problems and they are so visible and so prevailing in the community is in a way good. It's a really good stimulus for us to solve the issues. But yeah, let me see more questions. Yeah, for sure they're going to be, I can imagine there are going to be a huge amount of questions about like the shipments and product related stuff. Let me see what other questions are there. The screw problem, Gabriel. I think the screw problem, you probably are referring to the kickstand issue. So
yeah, I have an update for the kickstand issue. So we have prepared some spare kickstand and screws. So if you like, you can contact our support. Like if a kickstand is falling off or something, that we can send you the instructions and the spare kickstand and screws, so you can fix yourself.
So there's a quick fix, yeah.
Yeah, or otherwise you can also send it back to us. We fix it for you.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, any issue that pops up, we try to resolve it as soon as possible. And yes, sometimes we make these quick fixes, like where we can send the quick kickstand itself. But basically, the kickstand issue is very rare, and typically, I mean, it's our fault for sure. So we take the responsibility for it. So if there's a kickstand issue, like it falls off or something, that's like our fault, and we will for sure fix it for you. And if it's not fixed or something, please just write me a private message, and we'll look into it if we haven't resolved it yet. Yes, Arthur, you're pretty special, and you had a really great setup. I mean, in a good way. You had a really good setup. I was so proud about the post that you made, that you really loved your V. I was bragging to everybody, like, you see, our customer support addressed the issues of this guy. He's really loving his V. And then, okay, Arthur, you're right. I see another question from you. So, I promise that. You know, I'll look at the yes. I'll look at the. Let's take it to the private messages. Let's see. So now one thing is that we went over our 30-minute time generally, but I'm trying to. Okay, so guys, let's now focus on questions about product itself. So. If there is some kind of like bug type or problem type that you have questions about that was not answered before, this is a chance to ask it. Anything about shipping, repairs and that kind of stuff, we will make sure to address in a separate live stream that we'll make after this one, or a video. And the idea is that I just want to make sure that they are very focused, so then the people could watch the live stream that they're interested in, and they don't have to watch like a 1-hour video that talks about all kind of things. Do you see anything?
Oh, yeah, here's a question mentioned about 45 watts and 7 watts BIOS switch. I think this one is the one with performance. In the BIOS, in advanced, there is a performance switch to change the high performance or standard performance one.
Well, I think like the easiest way to change the TDP would be actually through Intel Extreme Tuning Utility. Like that's from our experience. But the BIOS change, that does make some changes. I mean, from the standard performance to max performance, turbo performance. I mean, it changes the thermal framework, thermal point, so temperature point. It increases it. That's what the switch in the BIOS does. But I think it would be easier to switch TDP in the Extreme Tuning Utility. What are the best third-party software hardware for the V according to team? That's a great question. Good question. I'm not sure really. I mean, it's I think it's really like matter of personal preference. Maybe we could discuss it in the community.
Which one?
Oh no, there was like what are the best software hardware recommendations?
That one they can discuss freely in the community.
The community really might know much better there. Yeah, so the status of the USB-C wobbling port has been already addressed. So just message our support and based on your case, because really it's case by case basis. Like sometimes there is no issue, sometimes like there is an issue. So case by case basis, we will be able to like provide you with a right solution. So like, I mean, if it's our fault, we always acknowledge it.
And also the question about bad pixel problem.
Oh. So generally, bad pixels is a really tricky issue, generally. So here how it works. We receive the documents from our manufacturer of screens, Sharp, and they have their own quality standards. So actually, Sharp, as a Japanese supplier with very expensive screens, has one of the highest quality standards. And how it works is that they say that, you know, according to our quality standard, you can have, I think, 3 or something, up to 3 dead pixels. Let's say I'm not 100% sure, but it's like up to 3 dead pixels in B area of the screen. So A area is the central point in the screen, like the central viewpoint, and then like a B somewhere in the corner, for example. And then yeah, that's basically their standard. And then because of that, we will not get a compensation from Sharp nor from Amdor. Generally, these issues are pretty challenging for us. So if there is like a 1 or 2 dead pixels somewhere in the corner, we would try to replace it to you. But if it's possible to find a solution where it's like not too disturbing for you and you could accept some gift card from us or something like some accessories, that would be really appreciated. That's just really like supporting us because we're very small guys. Like generally we structure our work so if there is a defect, then it has to be covered by our manufacturer to really be able to cover it ourselves. But of course, we always try to help our users. And also for the light leaks, there is another industry standard. So many of you notice that like there is a slight light leak at the bottom sometimes, and that is really a lot about, again, the standard from the manufacturer. So they use like a special film that is not fully transparent, and the standard is that if you put the film over and you can still see the light leak, then it's a fail of the quality check. But if you put the film over and you can see the light leak, then it's pass. So that's why actually a lot of devices in the market, most of them have the light leaks of some sort. That's just the standard for the industry. And at this point, we're just not big enough to really affect the quality standards of big manufacturers like Sharp. But eventually, for sure, we could. Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, Shinji is indicating to me that we need to start wrapping up this particular live stream. So, thank you very much for joining. We made this live stream shorter. No, not shorter. We made it almost in time, so 38 minutes. For sure, I will need to work. I'll rewatch it. I'll work on like improving myself in the live stream. But I hope you found some improvement from our previous one in Hong Kong. So thank you very much. Thanks for watching. We'll share some links in the community and here, and then we'll transcribe it. Transcription should come pretty early next week or somewhere over the weekend. So thank you very much, guys, and have a great day. And I'll talk to you very soon again. Oh, wait a second. Exactly, I was. Let's. Is it here? Oh, this is.